Hello guys, welcome back to Alexei Films. Today I will share a big major wicked theory that I have to explain if Vandal Savage is truly gone for good, and also how Flashpoint may occur in Legends of Tomorrow. So basically what I mean by Flashpoint occurring in Legends of Tomorrow, I'm saying how Flash and any other DC superhero will eventually meet up with the Legends of Tomorrow, and how it sorta has to do with Barry changing the timeline. Now, what I'm about to tell you is not certain, I could be wrong, but this is just one theory from what I have seen in the Flash trailers and Legends of Tomorrow. Okay, so to start off, I know what you may be thinking. How is there any possible way Vandal Savage is alive? But please bear with me on this crazy theory because I have really tried to find out if there was any chance he was still alive. We know that Vandal Savage is immortal, but he was killed in the season finale of Legends of Tomorrow when Kendra stabbed him and all the legends worked together to destroy the three meteors to erase him completely off the timeline. Because all the meteors were destroyed and Savage was killed, it made sense that he was gone for good. But this may actually not be the case. Going back to the crossover of Flash and Arrow, one of the meteors could destroy all of Starling City and Central City if it was used by Vandal Savage. But fortunately, Flash was able to take one of the pieces of the meteors and use it to make his gloves so that Vandal Savage could be killed and also counteract the effects of the Staff of Horus. This same piece of meteor was never destroyed, and was probably still kept in its current timeline, which means that Vandal Savage is not fully dead because the time still remains intact. Also, in the end of the crossover, Malcolm kept some of his ashes and said the same thing Vandal Savage would have said back in the time where he killed Carter and Kendra. What I think may have happened was that instead of Savage activating the meteor to destroy all of Central City and Starling City by killing Kendra and Carter, Malcolm activated the meteor as well as the ashes of Vandal Savage so that in an alternate timeline, Vandal Savage could be alive. What I mean by an alternate timeline is not where we see Savage in Legends of Tomorrow, because Vandal Savage was still alive in all those times, since Kendra didn't kill him in the past, so there the timeline is still intact and it's the same. What I mean is that Vandal Savage is only alive if an event in time is changed. Now, none of these two events seemed very important until Barry created the Flashpoint. With the Flashpoint occurring, there is a chance Vandal Savage is still alive because his ashes and the meteor were still in the timeline, and even if Flash and Arrow destroyed him, Kendra was supposed to kill Vandal Savage for him to truly be dead, which didn't happen. So if you think about it, we have seen the remains of Vandal Savage kept. Time is still intact because according to Rip Hunter, if one of the meteors wasn't destroyed, time would still be intact. And Barry Allen changed the current timeline when he created the Flashpoint. And if Malcolm Merlin did make a small adjustment in the present timeline and activated the meteor and the ashes of Vandal Savage, then it makes sense that if time is changed, Vandal Savage still remains alive. This theory ties in well with my next theory on some of the events Barry could experience during the Flashpoint. I will use some of the things I saw in the first look trailer of Legends of Tomorrow as well as The Flash Season 1. So back to the Season 1 of The Flash, towards the finale when Barry was saving his mom, we saw where Barry was seeing his past, present, and future, and all of this made me think, could some or all of these events occur when Barry went back to save his mom in the end of Season 2, and then will go into his present only to notice that some of the events he was seeing are happening? And if you wonder if it is possible, this is possible because when we saw Barry entering Earth 2, all of the events we saw had happened or were going to happen. And I believe that since we have only seen very few of the events that already happened when Barry was saving his mom in Season 1, the rest of the events are going to happen within the Flash timeline in the Flashpoint. I also realized that all of the events were somewhat skipped. For example, Barry goes into the West family, Killer Frost, the Future Flash Museum, Barry in jail, and the Flash, Captain Cold, Atom, and White Canary fighting a huge robot. So if you really think about it, two out of all of these events have happened. Barry gets adopted by the West family and Killer Frost. So all the other events are going to happen. But the reason I say they are skipped is because I think that Barry will be changing timelines in the future and in the past. So it makes sense that if Barry goes from timeline to timeline after regaining his speed, of course, eventually in the future he will see Vandal Savage again, as well as all the Legends of Tomorrow united to stop him. One event I forgot to add was somewhat a theory I came up with, but if you guys remember, in Season 1 of The Flash, Eobard Thawne had a newspaper that said, "Flash vanishes in crisis from the year 2024. I believe this event was going to happen, and the way the picture looked, and since the newspaper did say that Kendra and Oliver were both witnessing the event, this event really came close to the crossover event with Flash and Arrow, where Vandal Savage destroyed all of Central City in an alternate timeline, and Barry time traveled to avoid being killed. So what I suggest is that Eobard Thawne has a newspaper that occurs in the Flashpoint, and Barry will meet with both Eobard Thawne and Vandal Savage again, while he is changing timelines in the Flashpoint. But I do not think Barry will vanish. I think he will contain Vandal Savage's explosion by creating a wind barrier, and then he will time travel to another timeline. So now we get to the point where Barry and the Legends of Tomorrow meet, and yes, this includes Supergirl, Green Arrow, and any other superhero coming. When all the Legends of Tomorrow meet, however, it seems that Barry has already fixed the timeline. And now it is just all the Legends fighting against Savage in the future. The reason I'm saying Barry has fixed the timeline is because you will see that Barry is wearing his original costume from the first season, and I do not think this was just put in the first trailer to introduce us to Legends of Tomorrow. I believe that Barry is wearing his original costume because it has something to do with Flashpoint events and time remaining intact. Captain Cold was also back in the team wearing his original costume as well instead of his new costume. I just do not think we saw a trailer with a lot of detail with the events that didn't happen in Season 1 of Legends of Tomorrow. So I believe that Season 2 of Legends of Tomorrow will probably introduce Flash, Arrow, and Supergirl in the big crossover event during the fall. Well guys, that concludes my theory. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And comment down below if you think Vandal Savage will be returning as well as Flash and any other DC hero.